Today, my friend, is a very special day for little old moi. You see, I will officially, finally, be popping my Rivian Cherry. I don't know why. It just works in my head, I should think, before I speak. Anyhow, yes, I will get to drive this brand new 2025 Rivian R1S, if only for a few hours. Consider this more of a first drive impression than a truly in-depth review, because again, time is going to be short, and as if you look behind me, you can see that the sky is starting to get very cloudy and the wind is picking up. Therefore, it is going to rain, so I had to do the intro immediately upon getting the keys to this R1S. Now, Rivian, I don't want to say it this way, but I'm going to say it anyway, is riding on Tesla's coattails, much like Lucid and, well, Fisker and BYD in China and other markets around the world, and all other automakers that have taken advantage of the rush for clean transportation, I suppose. Let's just leave it at that without elaborating. But unlike, say, Fisker and other brands, no, BYD is fine, I promise you that. Rivian is here to stay. I mean, just in the way that they've presented themselves, their CEO, how he speaks, as opposed to, say, other CEOs, their brand image, which did have a few issues early on, but anyway, and the fact, and this is where everything kind of changes, is Volkswagen, I was going to say BMW, Volkswagen's involvement and injection of serious capital into this brand, not just for the brand, but for themselves, as Rivian will underpin most, if not all, of Volkswagen's future EVs. And I'm pretty sure that'll apply to Audis, so on and so forth. So that's out of the way. The R1S. The R1S is, okay, I like the R3X, it's very, very cool, but the R1S for me personally has been the model that has intrigued me both the most, because of the configuration. It is a 3-row SUV. I'll show you the interior in a few moments. I say that because, as you may or may not know, and no, I still haven't done it as of yet, but I picked up a 2025 Kia EV9 only a few months ago, and I promise that I will bring to you some long-term updates, because I have leased it for 4 years, and I haven't done my first intro video yet. But before I actually spec'd out and ordered my EV9, I had looked into the R1S. And though the EV9 is not inexpensive by any stretch of the imagination, this was far more expensive at the time. And it does have one critical issue, at least for me, which you may or may not know, but I'll show it to you a little bit later on, other than the pricing, of course. But if, just so you know, if you are shopping for an R1S at this very moment in Canada, you will be shocked, especially if you've been following the pricing structure as it has moved on over the months and weeks, in fact. But yeah, so this R1S belongs to a friend of mine, which explains why it's dirty, and I will not wash it because, right? And there is one subtle modification that's been brought to it. I'll explain later, if you haven't spotted it already. And I guess I'll end on that. I am very excited about the hours to come. So very, very shortly, I will do a walk around of this R1S and point out a few things. And then we're going to go for a drive. That'll come a little bit later. But hey, if you're still with me, please hang around and let's discover this R1S together. Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half since I picked up the R1S, and I'm driving around, and the weather is absolutely, well, held out. It's surprisingly gorgeous out here, and it's warm. So I'm going to take this opportunity to do the old walk around of the video and confess to you, my friend, something. This is in fact not a 2025 Rivian R1S. It is a 2024. Now, it has received, the R1S, some updates for the 2025 model year, but aesthetically, you really could not tell the difference The sole real visual update is in the Matrix LED headlights, which are a little bit different, but to not know it, you would never know it. I suppose this is a good opportunity to talk about the styling of this thing. At the first time I saw a picture of the R1T, I thought that the front end was just horrendously jokey and a terrible idea. But the hype surrounding the brand, as I was kind of saying in the intro, has made it, I don't know, it looks fantastic. It's absolutely unique. It's original. And, well, it just looks great, period. Okay, so pricing in the US, $75,900 will get you a base dual motor standard battery sized R1S. At the other end of the spectrum is the tri-motor for $105,900. So there's a quad coming, but we don't have pricing information yet. In Canada, now before I tell you this, now I mentioned that the R1S was of interest to me earlier on, and I remember speccing one out online, and it came out to about $117,000 with a few things that I wanted. Way too rich for my blood, but it would have been a bargain at the time, because now a base dual motor standard battery is $144,900. Thank you, all kinds of uncertainty and weird things going on in Canada and the US over the last few months. The tri-motor here is $186,900. So, I mean, when the quad arrives, $225,000 easy, I'm thinking. Canadian, of course. Thankfully, the level of equipment is not that bad, even in the base model. It really is beautiful out here. The 7-seater for all. LED lights all over the place, a heated steering wheel, 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, 15.6-inch touchscreen display, heated cooled front seats, the panel glass roof, and a bunch of other stuff. So at least it's well equipped. This, in fact, this model here is a dual motor, but a large battery. And it also has the all-terrain package. It has a sound and vision package also for a 2025 price of about $160,000. Now let's do the old tour on the inside. So follow the V, there we go. The arrow to open up the dual section hatch, which I absolutely love. So that reveals 499 liters of space. Now this is a fully lived in, completely used, family operated Rivian R1S. So, you know, other than the backpack and the tripod, everything else belongs to the car. 499 liters. So if you put the third row down, you're looking at 1,376 liters of total trunk space, which is very good. And in the segment, it basically or almost matches the EV9, which, by the way, I suppose we can mention it. This is 5.1 meters long overall. EV9 is 9 centimeters shorter overall. And I think this has a longer wheelbase, but don't quote me on that. Okay, so on the interior, let's just jump right into the third row, because it's not entirely useful in the sense that I sat back there and it's absolutely uncomfortable. The seat cushion is far too close to the floor, and the floor itself is on an angle, meaning that your feet are kind of, I don't know, your ankles are twisted slightly when you get back there. But the second row is extremely spacious, and here's the issue that I had with this. It's only a 7-seater, so there are no captain seat configurations, which is an absolute must for me with the 4 kids. But otherwise, I mean, you can see the premiumness, right? The details, the touches, everything that goes on with the surfaces, everything you interact with visually or even to the touch. And seeing just the logo is just really cool. And it's right down to the door cards, cross stitching, and the wood. It's lovely. The texture is fantastic. And obviously carries on in the front. I mean, where you have, again, cross stitching, and you really have, the wood feels absolutely authentic. The materials themselves are quite nice. Same with the seats. The thing is here with the seats, though, after an hour and a half with the vehicle, very firm, not exceptionally comfortable, with very little support. That is my biggest letdown so far. But otherwise, and just before I step in, I'm really getting the impression that this is an adventure premium SUV. I mean, there's your flashlight, which is really cool. But that's just one of the small details. So let's just jump right in. So there's your 12.3-inch display. The graphics and the animations are fantastic. This is your main, see? This is your main touchscreen display. I'll make sure that's unlocked so I can show you what it's all about. Um, it's amazing. The configuration, the layout, the user friendliness, and there is a sharp learning curve to find out where everything is. But the screen is so huge and so well laid out that it's actually quite easy to learn. There are your drive modes and your suspension height, heated cooling. This is, you know, whatever's going on while you're driving. It's quite exceptional. And I mean, you know, this gives you the absolute premium experience, and storage is quite good, I must say. And yeah, this is your wireless charge pad. This is what I wanted to show you. You know, let's get the removable Bluetooth speaker that stores wonderfully cool in there. More storage down here. There are details. Here we go. Let's do that. So there are your cup holders. It's kind of old school, but I love it. And then there's the vent right here. And the vent is perfectly positioned for the passengers, but it's also keeping my drink really cool. I don't know if that's purposeful. I'm going to guess yes, but that's amazing. And again, textures, materials, surfaces, very, very premium. I mean, right down to the Alcantara liner. Steering wheel, lovely grip, looks fantastic again. And I mean, the phone is about 3 centimeters away from my mouth, and the visibility is really good for this type of vehicle. 8 pillars, the base is fairly narrow, and I've said way too much. Time to drive. Column shifter. I don't know. It's cool in my head somehow. My first impressions of this brought me, I'm jumping right in here, brought me immediately to a thought. If this was a Volkswagen, well, no, like a Scout International, brand new one, all electric, the way it behaves, sounds, just feels the whole of the interaction, I would absolutely believe you. It's probably because my impression of Scout is that it's going to be very, very SUV-like. And Rivian, well, it's the first time that I drive it, and it's very premium, but it feels so truck-like. I mean, more so than any off-road-ish, say, mid-sized 3-row truck, Adrenaline Z71, all those well, I haven't driven the Trail Sport, but say like a Peak Edition from Volkswagen, it's so much more truck-like in the way it behaves. And I'm pretty sure that's what Rivian was going for, and I'm convinced that's what Scout wants from Rivian. So I'm, again, even more so looking forward to other Rivians and Scout and everything that Volkswagen and Rivian are going to put together looking forward. So there's the standard range. This is a long range, so it's 108.5 kilowatt hour battery. The max pack is 140 kilowatt hours setup. Base range is 435 kilometers. This is rated at 529, which is perfect. Really no complaints to be made as far as that's concerned. I mean, obviously, I have no clue, but I left with about 90%, and it was like 517 or 521 kilometers still indicated, which is, I believe 660 kilometers with the max pack. So now we're talking, this is serious range zone, especially for vehicles this size that are capable of towing 7,700 pounds. Obviously, when you're towing, you're not going to get that kind of range. But with the dual motor, as is, the standard output is 533 horsepower and 610 pound-feet of torque. Right now, unfortunately, I'm stuck behind a slower vehicle, so I can't really nail it. And also, it's probably a good thing because this is not my vehicle and it's not a press unit. But it is rated at 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, the sprint in 4.6 seconds. I have no reason not to believe it. Whatever mild accelerations that I did before, this thing gets up and out of its way with authority. Brakes are nice. I mean, the 3 regen brake modes I briefly showed you on the screen. There's a noticeable difference only as you continue to slow down. Not initially, but they're all well calibrated. Steering is, well, not connected to anything really. The Wild Peak tires may have something to do with that, but if you're going to get this truck, it's probably one of the first mods you would do if you don't buy it from the factory. Brake pedal feel is quite nice. And now we get to the ride. So the four-corner air suspension standard for all of these guys. And what's been done for 2025 is that it's been recalibrated for comfort. And I can see why. Because this 2024 model has a little bit of a difficulty controlling the speed and ratio at which the dampers and the springs, well, the airbags, whatever, are compressing and releasing. It's floaty in many respects. I won't say unpleasant, but it very much reminds me of an EV6 GT line that I drove last year, where the rear end just kind of does its thing because it's elbows up, because it's floaty-ish, not entirely perfectly controlled. I can see that less of that oscillation or oscillation or movements like that will be dialed out for 2025. I do really hope to get the opportunity to try that out. The ride, though, generally speaking, even with that in mind, is not entirely comfortable. But again, it's a Rivian R1S. It's a dedicated-ish for off-roading. And for all intents and purposes, it's very acceptable. It's the type of suspension tune that maybe at first, if you step out of, I'm saying absolutely anything, a Toyota RAV4 or a Volkswagen Atlas or something like that, it's going to feel a little bit off. But the thing is that it's dedicated for a purpose. I'm rolling into it, and it's, exercising the brakes a little bit more. And I've come to a dead end, but that's okay because I'm just going to turn around and keep going. See, there's a fair amount of lean at low speeds like that. See, that's exactly why I did that. But again, it's okay for the vehicle. I think if reliability and build quality holds, thank you, Volkswagen, for the massive injection of capital, as I said earlier on. This is just the beginning. The R2 and R3 should sell like hotcakes if Rivian can make enough of them and price them reasonably. Never mind Canada, that's a foregone conclusion. They're going to be priced out of reason, but they will remain exactly like the R1S and the R1T for that matter, extremely desirable and very attractive overall. And that's it.